Ashley and Stan. All right, let's get to it. Kings-Lakers fourth quarter, under 5 minutes left in the game, and LeBron James, he just turned 37, and I don't know what he's doing, how he's celebrated, but my goodness, I want to be like LeBron. 40 seconds left. He's just shooting threes like it's nothing. The Lakers are 4-0 when LeBron starts his center. Let's keep doing that. Watch him. Mitch the lay-in, that's okay. I've got it myself. No one has your own back like you. Lakers up 4 in a tight game under 2 minutes remaining, and De'Aaron Fox, he had a big game, doing it all himself. He's just, excuse me, coming through off the glass. Kings cut it to a 2-point game. And then LeBron James taking over. Gets the bucket, picks up the foul. Lakers are victorious 122-114. Tim Legler joining us now to talk this Lakers-Kings game. Another insane outing from LeBron James, his NBA best 16, 30-plus point game. How on earth is he doing it at 37 years old, Tim?
Well, listen, obviously this guy's done an incredible job of staying in shape and being able to maintain his body so he has the kind of stamina to do this. I think what you're seeing right now with LeBron, with Anthony Davis out, some of the health and safety protocols they've dealt with, you're seeing him now go to a place as a scorer that really reminds you of LeBron James back when he was in the early Cleveland days, when he had to take over games in this way. He's just trying to keep the Lakers' heads above water, and he did it again in this one with his ability to take over the game physically late, taking advantage of matchups, getting to the rim. But Ashley, for me, the most important thing that come out of this game is the fact that you got Malik Monk, Taylor Horton-Tucker. The way those two guys played, that allowed the Lakers to be in a position where they were still within striking range for LeBron James to take over. And I think ultimately, you know what you're going to get out of LeBron. You're pretty sure what you're going to get out of AD when he's back and healthy. The key is going to be their supplemental supporting cast. Are they going to get three-point shooting out of those guys? Are they going to get ball movement that incorporates those guys and includes them in the offense? And when their role players play as well as they did tonight, with LeBron James still showing you what he has at closing time, the Lakers are a team that are still very dangerous. I think right now we've got to wait and see what they will be the second half of the year when AD comes back and we see him healthy for a long time. If they move the basketball and get help from their role players, the Lakers are still a major factor in the Western Conference.
Absolutely. You think about that championship team a couple of years ago. Not only did they have LeBron and AD playing so well in itself, but they had guys coming off the bench and contributing so much. But LeBron James, year 19 and showing no signs of slowing down. Tim Legler, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Ashley.
I'm Chris McGee. I'm joined by the Hall of Famer Big Game James Worthy. Got big shot Robert Horry. Allie's going to be joining us in a little bit. We got Mike Trudell and Mike Bresnahan down at the arena, and I do want to go down to Crypto.com Arena right now because one of the heroes of tonight, Dwight Howard, is nice enough to join us. Dwight, welcome. I got Rob and Big Game with me, 14 and 14, off the bench, great energy, something the Lakers desperately needed. Tell us about your mindset that you had coming into tonight. And I ask you because it just seems like night to night, you're not sure maybe what your role is going to be. And this is really the first time you've played with LeBron starting at center, and you came in the first quarter and provided exactly what they needed.
Well, yeah, my mindset was, if I get on the floor tonight, I'm going to make all my minutes count and, make them have to put me on the floor to play, so I wanted to come in and bring a lot of energy, try to finish everything around the basket, make sure the other team didn't get any offensive rebounds, and then on our offensive end, try to get my guys open for easy shots and then crash the boards and get as many offensive rebounds as I could.
Dwight, you bring an old school style to the game, man. It's like you come in, you do your role, you muck things up, you get physical. Talk about how important that is for this team to have that role coming off the bench when you can observe things from the bench and you come in and take care of whatever needs to be done, whether it's defense, offensive rebounds, lobs, all that.
Yes, sir. That's what they've asked me to come do here. So, when I come in the game, my job is to try to be the most physical, but also be disciplined with, the physicality. And sometimes it might get a little rough because of today's game. But I just try to provide a presence on the defensive end, and then on the offensive end, just sacrificing my body, for our guys who's scoring the offense. So, sometimes it's a role that a lot of people might not want. But whatever it takes for us to win, we're willing to do it. And we needed this win tonight, keep this winning streak going.
Dwight, Robert Horry, every night you provide that energy. If you're on the sideline, if you're on the court, you bring that energy, and I love that. Do you ever just do a drive-by Vogel and say, hey, man, you remember last game, dude? Hey, I played great. Put me in the game. You remember that game you didn't want to play me, and I played great? Do you go by a drive-by and remind them of these things, man? Because you need to be on the court.
Well, I just do what is asked of me, when my number is called, I try to give everything I got, It's very tough, from game to game, not knowing if you're going to play, not knowing if you're going to get the minutes. And, it's very hard, playing in the league for a while. You want to get out there and play, but, it's just all about sacrifice. And, it's games where I'm like, man, I wish I could be out there to help the team. And, I understand this is what the coaches want. And it's very hard, as a big, but for me, it's just staying ready, staying positive, and staying, in the right mindset, which is very tough for, anyone to, sit on the bench and not be able to play. But, tonight I got an opportunity, and I said to myself, if I get in, I'm going to make everybody feel me tonight, and I just tried to do the best I could.
All right, Dwight, this is my advice to you, because I want to see you out there. Just go sit by Vogel or stand by Vogel. That way he knows you there, man, because I think he forgets about you, dog. That's all I got to say, man.
I'm going to just make sure that when I'm on the court, I'll be unforgettable.
Oh, they do, Dwight. Hey, we appreciate you. You're always a pro. We love your honesty. We also love those lobs you caught from Malik.
Oh, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys.
Keep that energy, dog.
Yeah, keep it
that
up,
energy.
Dwight. We appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
14 and 14, one of the heroes of the night. Listen, Frank said that was so good. Rob said a drive-by and then go sit next to him. Listen, Frank did say the other night that he looked down that bench, but they had committed to staying and kind of learning for the future with that lineup. Tonight, though, Rob, I know you were happy, as were we. As a coach, sometimes you got to adjust, and I don't know if that was the plan. He'll tell us in a little bit, but it was wise to go to Dwight when he did.
For me, it gets to a point where, your littles are getting out-rebounded. I say this all the time. You cannot teach size, and you need some size in there sometimes. I can understand if you had a big that was out there that was mobile, doing things. They just had regular old-school big White, a guy who has a lot of energy, who can rebound, who could do a lot of things in there and mess things up. So you got to sometimes switch up the game plan. Coaches sometimes say, oh, this is where I'm going. Okay, I got to get sidetracked because this is happening.
I noticed this a couple years ago, James, and I know you've talked a lot about it. We saw it last year when he was in Philadelphia. You just got to be happy for a young man that's later in his career able to kind of change roles and mentally stay in tune. He is a pro. And I hope, I know Laker fans, but I know the Laker organization, you just appreciate the things he said tonight because it's hard.
Yeah.
And I love that honesty because he wants to play every night. But when he's out there, he said, I'm going to make everyone better. You got to love that.
The one thing he's done over his career, and a lot of us do it over our careers, is you reconcile with yourself. He's been a great player, defensive player of the year, been to the finals, and he had to really reconcile with himself to mature to get to a place where he can still produce and be very productive at it. So you do like to see elite star player, at this point of his career, turn into a role player and change his whole game and really be effective. When I talk about guys like the intangible players like Caruso and guys like that, he's one of those players. When he comes into the game, things change immediately, whether he's defending somebody, whether he gets offensive rebounds, or whether he just comes in and gets physical. So he's a very valuable player to have coming off the bench.
For me, when you watch the connection Malik Monk and Dwight had tonight, it's very beneficial for this team. I don't know if y'all remember a couple of games back where he was in the game and Malik Monk threw him a bounce pass. If that's not where Dwight plays.
Not low by the knees. Get it up there.
You put it up by the rim, and Malik learned. And now they have a good connection. He got 3 or 4 lobs tonight. And you got to have the type of connection, especially when you coming off the bench together. You playing these type of minutes together in practice.